History to a 19th century pastor whose history is being honored in our own backyard. First today, she is a powerhouse Pentecostal preacher who made church history recently by shattering the glass ceiling in her organization. Bonnie Hunter, pastor and founder of Friendship Church Outreach Ministry Incorporated in Capitol Heights, Maryland, is the first woman ever elevated to the position of bishop in the International Bible Way Church, headquartered here in Washington, D.C. Bible Way is an organization of approximately 1,000 churches around the nation and the world. Welcome, Bishop Hunter.
Glad to be here.
Yes, it's such a pleasure to have you with us. Congratulations on being elevated to the bishopric. It was a long journey to become a woman bishop in Bible Way, in the Bible Way Church. Does it feel like you broke a glass ceiling?
Yes. Yes, we have reached beyond even my imagination, to know that God will open that door and let us go this far.
God helped open the door, but you did a lot of pushing.
Absolutely, a lot of praying and working, and the work has spoken for itself.
You have served as the pastor of Friendship Outreach Church in Prince George's County since 1995. You founded Friendship as an independent church because becoming a woman pastor in your organization, in Bible Way, just wasn't an option. Is that right?
It wasn't an option. They didn't believe in women pastors, women ministers. They didn't never allow us to preach. If we were too loud, they would pull our coattails. And I knew that as the Lord called me, that I would not be accepted. So I had to step out by faith, and the Lord led me, and we opened our church up in 1995. And so we thank God for the leading of the Lord. I wasn't even ordained. I just heard the voice of God and stepped out, and God said, "You'll show me the way."
Your father saw that you were a strong leader in the church, but he also didn't believe that women should be pastors.
No, he didn't believe, because he was taught the same thing, that women aren't to preach. Women are not going to pastor. And so he kept that rule, and you had to talk from the floor. And so I took opportunities when they had testimony service. That's when I preached. I was preaching and didn't even realize it, but the preaching was on me. But those were my opportunities, because they didn't believe in women preachers.
So you could have remained independent. You stepped out in 1995, started your own church, independent at Bible Way, and you could have stayed that way. But in 2001, something interesting happened.
Yes.
The organization that wouldn't even ordain you to be able to stand in front of a congregation and deliver a sermon invited you to come back. How big a surprise was that?
That was I was like, oh my God. I was at a banquet, and at that time, the presiding prelate, Apostle Lawrence Campbell, just approached me at the table and said, "I heard good things about you, and I believe in women pastors. Won't you come on back to Bible Way?" So I prayed about it, and I heard the Lord say, "For such a time as this, I've raised you up. Go back." And history begins. I went back to the very place that wouldn't even believe in women pastors.
Yeah, because you wanted to show them something, I assume, too.
Well, I was successful, and they heard the success, and they said, we want her. And at that very time, I had just bought my church. We had just bought our church building, and he just heard the good news of what we were doing.
So you became, at that point, the first woman given a license to serve as a pastor.
Yes.
In Bible Way. That was a big thing.
That was history for Bible Way, of being the first woman pastor, because they had none. But there were women that were undercover pastoring, but because they didn't accept it.
Undercover meaning they were working as pastors?
Yes.
But the Bible Way didn't know about it?
Nope, no credentials, nothing.
Oh.
And so when I went back and they was going to give me women pastors' credentials, it was amazing, because the women didn't believe it was going to ever happen. And so I said, they're going to give me credentials. And I said, I won't believe it until it happens.
Years later, Bishop Hunter, you became the first woman promoted to the position of district elder. Now, a district elder oversees groups of churches. While you were a pastor, you were helping to start other churches in Bible Way.
Absolutely. And every church I started, I brought into the Bible Way Church, which helped it to grow. And so we had birthed 7 churches. The work was there, but I was a woman.
Okay.
So that was a struggle.
Gonna take a break. We're talking with Bishop Bonnie Hunter. We'll be right back.
Ooh.